and explain it again so that everybody's going to see the settings. So what am I saying? For you to host your project on vercel. Now, one thing about vercel is that you can drag and drop your project folder from your local what's the name folder on your laptop and put it on vercel. It's gonna work. But one thing about hosting with GitHub is that whenever you push or you make an update to GitHub, your vercel will automatically add updates to the application. So you don't have to like redeploy. So all you have to do is just deploy it once. When I say deploy, host it once. That's what deploy means. Deployment means that you are pushing your project to vercel. You are hosting it on vercel. So all you have to do is push to GitHub, and automatically it's going to be deployed on vercel. You understand? That's why I wanted you to log in with vercel. So now let's say I want to like deploy my project on vercel. This fitness project, I want to like host it on vercel. I can import it, and again, check this project name. If it makes sense, leave it like that. That's actually the most important thing there. Then deploy. So once you click on deploy, just wait for a couple of seconds, and automatically your project is going to deploy to vercel. So let's give it probably 5 more seconds to 10 seconds, and let's see what happens. Now, exactly, now it has deployed. If you notice, you now have access to whatever it is you've done. As you can see, it's showing that, oh, this is what will be. So now, as you can see, fitness project -mu, that is the link to the project now. Now, this is not your normal 127.0.this. It is now a link. So if I send it to the core now, and you try and click on it, you should be able to see that, okay, oh, we've been able to deploy to vercel, and now we're no longer using our what? We're no longer using the local host to have access to this particular link and particular project. Now, that's what I want everybody to understand. This is how vercel works. So I hope everybody gets this. Is it clear to everybody? Is it clear to everybody? All right. You have a question? Sorry? Yes, globally accessible. Yes. One thing is like search on it on Google, you might not see it. But if you click on the link, you will see it. It's not everything you search on Google that you see. What do you mean by globally accessible? What I mean by globally accessible is that if anybody searches this link anywhere in the world, they will have access to it. Now, if you want to search for something like this on Google and you want it to come up, then you have to take into note some important things like SEO. SEO means search engine optimization, meaning that you still have to optimize that particular web application to make it accessible globally. No, not accessible globally, to make it come out whenever they just search for the name. For instance, Facebook, now, once you search for Facebook, see Facebook, where it has been optimized. It has, the amount of money they spend on marketing, promotion, to make sure that it's well optimized globally. That's how Facebook is. But this one is nothing actually. So it has not been optimized. We don't even have any search engine optimization for this application. And apart from that, there are also search engine optimizations that you do outside your website that makes it accessible. We've not done it. So you cannot just search for fitness project and expect it to come out. You see numerous fitness projects that people have done that have better SEO ranking than this. You understand? So that's why it's not going to work. But this link that I just sent to you is accessible anywhere there is internet, apart from North Korea, that I think, and some other places that they restricted some of their internet access. But as long as there's an internet access, New Zealand, Australia, anywhere, it is going to be accessible. Now, I'm not done explaining some things before you go ahead and do it, because you will still do this as a classwork for me to see if everybody can report it. I want to explain some things. Now, let's talk about domain name. A domain name is the human readable address of a website. So what do I mean by human readable address of a website? So for instance, I showed us something in the last class, and not in the last class, I showed us something today that Whenever you are trying to check something online or check your process that you are doing locally, what you're going to see is what 127.0.0.1, right? This is what we call local host. Now let me write it down so that everybody understands it. So let me look for my notepad. So there's something we call a local host. So when we say local host, right? So I'm going to give you an example of what local hosts are. So whenever you see something like 127.0.0.1, then 5500, this is what a local host is. And what does local host mean? Local host mean that this is like a let's say a URL to a project on your local computer. That's what your local host is. Now, one thing about your projects is that every single thing needs to have a host. It needs to have a place whereby you click on and then you see the details of the project. That is why there's a local host. So this particular one is like a local host for almost all your projects, right? Now, one thing is that this cannot be accessible to everybody online. It's not even possible. Because if you search for this online now, let us search for this online now, it is going to give you a project locally in your project. So that means if you search for this, you will not see the same thing I'm saying. So there is now a need for you to see, for me to for us to convert this particular IP address. They also call it an IP address. For you to convert this address to something that can be seen globally. Do you understand it now? So what now happens is that, okay, so for instance, if I now deploy, so for instance, this is my project, right? Now, right now, the project is having what? The local host, so LH, local host, right? Now, what now happens is that if I now deploy to the server, right? One thing that I have to do is that I need to drop this local host. I need to drop the IP address that's on this thing. Now, that IP address is still attached to it, but one thing that is going to happen is that it is now going to go to the server. But before it gets to the server, there is something that occurs in this place. Please, I need everybody to understand this. It's important. Now, there is something that happened in this place. This is your what? Web hosting. So you send the IP address to the what? To the web host, plus the details of the website. So they receive it. Now ask you certain questions that, okay, what exactly do you want? Do you want this particular name for the website? That's fitness project, right? Now, after getting that name, what do you want your website to be called? That is what the domain name is. The domain name is like a readable representation of this local host or the IP address they are seeing before. So now, after they've gotten the IP address or the local host that you are seeing, they now convert it to the name that you choose. Now it is that name that is sent to the server and is registered with the details of that website. So that's why when you have facebook.com has an IP address locally. So when it was now hosted, what happened that the IP address is now converted into like a domain name. That whenever you now search facebook.com, you are seeing facebook.com. But locally, it is not facebook.com. It's probably like an IP, a very long IP address. 198.172.127, a long IP address. You understand it now? So that is basically what this domain or this web hosting is going to do for you. Convert whatever it is that you have here locally and take it online. So that is why initially you were seeing 127.0.0.1, but now you're not seeing a domain name of what? fitnessproject-mu.vercel.com. Is it clear? Good. Now that is basically what your domain name is. So now, again, a domain name is what? The human readable address of the website. Now, example is what? Google.com. Now, the server is where the Google files, like I said, the Google data actually lives. Now, without a domain, users would need to type an IP address. So you need to now understand cram the IP address of Facebook, which is impossible. It's not that it's not impossible. Let's say near impossible, because some people are very, very good at cramming things. Some things that are very, very long. So you don't want to like give yourself such stress. Just give it a domain name, convert the IP address into a readable name, and then you have access to it. You understand? So this is basically what vercel and web hosting is all about. I hope everybody understands this. Secretors. So we are done with that. We are done with web hosting. Just like that. Can we edit it? It was like a question. Okay, continue. That was the question. Ah, wow. I got it. So now you can actually edit it. Now, how do you edit it? You use this. Now, one thing about vercel is fast, right? It has a lot of things. After deploying, can you see deployment settings? Now it's going to ask you certain things. Find a custom domain. You have to purchase a domain. So that's how domains are. So let's say let's purchase. Let me look for a domain now. So if I say so let's try .com. This might be taken. So it's unavailable, as you can see. Unavailable, right? So it's unavailable. So let us check .io and let's see what we have. Also unavailable. You know what? That's that will definitely be unavailable. So let us try for fitness. Also unavailable. But when I say for fitness.dev, do you see the price here? $13 for a year. So some are 15. So now it depends on the reason why all of this domain, and don't let me go into that. There's also something they call domain business. I'm not going to go into that. So one talk about fitness.io, right? This is, you notice that this one is higher than this. This one is higher than this. This one is higher, like they have different grades. It's not as if this IO brings any more it's not as if it brings any additional what's the name? It doesn't bring anything additional to it. It is just like the name. Fitness of IO makes more sense than fitness of dev. You understand? That's just what it brings to it. So that's why it's definitely going to be higher. And there's also something they call they call domain business. Some people will just buy domain, keep it, and then when someone wants to like get this domain, they will sell it at a higher price. What am I saying? Some might want to actually get this for fitness or IO. They will buy it for $40. Keep it. Whenever someone wants to get it, the person will come and get it from them, and they can sell it for $100. That's like a domain business a lot of people do. So now that's just how domains are bought. So if you want to change this one that you have, this is what they call a sub domain. Everybody's here. So everybody's already, it's too easy. So everybody's tired. Everybody's just, are we getting it? Mr. Kelvin, are you getting it? Okay. So now that is basically what your domain is. Now, to answer your question of changing it, of course, you can change it. So now in web hosting, there's something we call domain, as I've explained. What's domain? Domain is like a readable format, right? Readable format of what you're reading. Now, there's now something we call a subdomain. Now, a subdomain is now also a readable format of what you're trying to do, but then it is a domain that you do not own. Now, a domain is a readable format that you own. You own it. You bought it. You have access to it. Now, a subdomain is also a readable format that you borrowed. So you don't have access, you don't actually own it. Now, what exactly am I saying? This is a domain, techedu.dev. This is a domain. But fitnessproject-mu.vercel.app means that vercel is the owner, right? But they borrowed you to use it. That's why .vercel.app is there. If I was the owner, it should have just been fitnessproject.app or fitnessproject.com or .ng. Facebook.com, Facebook's owner. But if it was facebook.vercel.app, that is no longer Facebook's domain. They just borrowed it. That is what subdomain is. Now, for you to own a domain, you have to buy it. Subdomains are free. But for you to own a domain, you have to buy it. So I can go ahead and say, okay, I want to change this domain now. So let's say now this is a domain. I can click on this plus here. So as wait, just a moment. So now let me look for the this is the project. When I click on this project, so let's say manage domains, right? To change the domain. Now this is the domain that we have, fitness projects that show me. I can change it. I can edit it. I can say, okay, instead of MU, I want MY. If I try to save it, it's going to search if anybody was already using this MY. Sorry. Let me change it again to MY. MY. So let me save it and let me see what we are. So redirect to new. Yeah, so let us do this. So as you can see, nobody's using MY, so give it to us. But if someone was using .my.vercel.app, it's not going to give it to you because then that means two different websites will be clashing. So you can only have one domain per website. Do you understand it now? So that's basically what your subdomain is. Is it clear to everybody? Is it clear? All right. So now that is that about domains. I hope everybody understands what domains are. It's clear to everybody. Any question? Yeah. Yes, you have to pay for it. So if you need sites whereby you want to get your domain, you can get it from vercel. Of course, I just showed us how you can get it from vercel now. You can just go to the overview. It's going to tell you deployment settings, find a custom domain, you can buy a domain. So let's say I want to get for Levites.com. So it's unavailable. Let me see .dev. Let's try .dev. So as you can see, I can get it for $13 if I actually wanted to get this domain. So you can search for it. If you're not using this, it's actually cheap. That should be around how much? Is it like yeah, 17K. Yeah, so it's not actually. So now if you can check for then if you are not, if you don't want to use, if you feel like this one is too high, you can use another one called Hostinger. So that's the one I use. I like Hostinger a lot. So I use Hostinger. So you can check. So the thing is that there's the way Hostinger gives me my services that I like. So I can, if I have any problem, I can easily call Hostinger and have work with them. And they can, of course, you can send them or call them on their hotline, and then they actually they have a better what's the name? They have a better customer relationship exactly. So I use them a lot. So let me just sign in and let me show you some of the things that I have on Hostinger. So do I still remember my okay, I don't remember my password. So now this is how Hostinger looks like uh after you've logged in. So this is how Hostinger looks like. So first of all, it tells you so let's say I want to I want to renew websites now. So you go to your website, you can go ahead and get a domain or get so these are some of my hosting, right? This is one hosting. These are other hostings that you get and you can just start using. So now Hostinger is quite different from vercel. Vercel you can deploy from GitHub, it works. Hostinger you can't deploy from GitHub. You can only do it manually. So there is something we call a dist. I don't want to go into that. So you can, for now, use vercel. Hostinger is easy to pick up on your own. Trust me. All these things, they are easy to pick up on your own. But if you actually now want me to explain it to you later, I can give you like an explanation. They are easy to pick up on your own. So now, one thing that you can do on, so hosting I just added Node.js. So you just added, that means you can actually deploy now with your GitHub if you upgrade. So I'm not upgrading. But on the plan that I am right now, all you have to, you can drag and drop websites and host on Hostinger, but you have to pay money. So let's say I want to add websites, right? Let's say I want to add a particular website. So it's going to ask me what type of website are you trying to add? So are you trying to add Hostinger using AI to build websites with Hostinger? Are you trying to add WordPress, right? WordPress developer? Are you trying to like use Hostinger website builder? Or are you trying to use your custom HTML website, right? Now, the last one is now saying, are you trying to deploy from GitHub, just like your Netlify and all? So if you click on that one, it's going to tell you to upgrade. Now let us see the amount. See if it's okay. It's saying $5 per month. So the business plan is actually cheap because my current plan is actually cheaper. So I think I know what I'll be doing from next month. So we are going to be using this. So it's going to tell you if you go to your website and you try to like add a new website, it's going to ask you to use your GitHub. So this is the option I'm going to always advise. But for now, this is the plan that I'm on. So I'm going to try and add with custom PHP website. Now, if you click on that, it's going to take you to like your H panel. Tell you that okay, you want to use a particular, you want to use this hosting to add your website. You have to first of all get a domain. Now, let us now try to check the same domain that we checked here. Let us see which one is much more expensive. Right? So if I paste it here now, you check it out. So it's telling me $14. But this one is telling me $13. So as you can see, no, 13.99, that is up approximately 14. So this one is much more expensive, or at least $1 or 0.99 more expensive than this. So you can choose the one that you like. For me, I will definitely still get it from Hostinger because it is easier for me to work with Hostinger. And there's a way you can get domains from vercel, then points that domain to Hostinger. So that is another thing. Again, those things are easier to pick up when you understand the foundation of web development. Just understand how to use vercel for now. Then probably in like 6 months' time, you can now start using hosting. I can start buying hosting and domain. And if you need help on that, you can also reach out to me on that. So that's how you can host to those guys. If you want to use other one, you have GoDaddy. So GoDaddy is a place I never go to because I don't like them. So I'm online now, so I don't want to say something, so they will not sue me. I don't like GoDaddy. I don't use GoDaddy for some reasons, right? First of all, they are too expensive, and second of all, I don't really think they deliver excellent services. So I don't use GoDaddy. Then you also have Namecheap. So I'm just giving us things that you can use. You also have Namecheap. So to get hosting and domains. So these are some of it. So let us still try to let's search for that domain that is here. And let's see what Namecheap gives to us. So searching for that same domain for Levi's.dev, Namecheap should be more expensive. Okay, it's less expensive. It's now 12.98 than others. So then these are some of the hosting services that we have. And one advice, I will not advise you to use any Nigerian hosting service. Just don't use them so that you don't have issues later. All right, so that is that about hosting services. Any other question? Do we understand all of these things, or you still need me to explain it one more time? Is it clear to us, please? Sir Kelvin. Sir Kelvin. Is it clear? It's clear. Okay. So that is that about hosting service. Those online, please, is it clear too? I felt like I did not ask questions today. Mr. Shegun, Mr. Pius, Mr. Ashusa, Mr. Gabriel, do you understand this? I think this is probably the easiest thing we've done. That's why everybody is so chilled. Okay, this week, okay, that's why everybody is so chilled today. Mr. Shegun and Mr. Pius, is it clear to you? Are they on this call? Hmm.